What's up, my people? You are now tuned in to another episode of Mental Telepathy's Arena. And as you know, I am your host and lyrical genius, Black Titanium. And we are going to delve off into this show like never before. Like never before. Because as we have entered the last 30 seconds of the final hour, bear witnessing to biblical events, we can settle for nothing less than knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Because there are so many people in this world, this evil world, who would rather keep this society a godless society. Understand what I'm saying? So as I stand here as a vessel of God, looking at the situation and observing the situation, I have to pray for my people because they know not what they do. But a lot of people are slowly waking up. But that's a whole nother story. We're going to delve off into the show. Before I delve off into the show, I want to talk to all the petty ass niggas who's probably observing the background and saying, damn, I've noticed that this nigga has been inside. Especially the crackers, them racist ass crackers and rednecks and racist redneck and all these other cultures that be trying to get their little laugh on when I tell them that I'm in a homeless situation. So they think a nigga's outside freezing. So now they looking at the video, they saying, damn, he was inside. Do you actually think that God is going to let a nigga stay by the way, fall by the wayside? If I'm a servant of God, you will see that under and in a crisis, God makes his servants stronger, not weaker. So all you petty ass, bitch ass niggas that be sitting up, them old snitch ass niggas, them old little fat stumpy ass bitches that be wanting to get their little thrills and shit. It's no problem for me to accept humiliation. I'll even put myself in a humiliating situation just to please those who have petty minds. There's nothing wrong with belittling yourself or accepting humiliation because a lot of the times humiliation is good for the soul. But in this day and time, it doesn't really bother me because I know that I've been put here for a purpose. I've been put on this earth for a purpose. We all have a universal plan. There's a universal plan for all of us. And as we move into the final hour, the last 30 seconds of it, and as each day passes by, you can see things getting worse and worse. As you see all these racist rednecks, trying to defy God's plan, defy his wrath, by thinking they can build over it, by thinking they can walk over it, by thinking that we don't have to respect that. Things are getting worse and worse. Because what you don't understand is that all of these niggas that sit up here thinking that, these white people that think that they team white supremacy, thinking that they really on the team, they're going to find out that they were just as expendable as black people. All of these other Uncle Julio ass niggas and all these other racist people, other racist cultures, all of these old sellout Africans and Arab ass niggas that thought they was rocking. Now these niggas ain't making no money, or these niggas gotta downsize and reduce themselves to lower paying jobs. Now they are starting to realize that they were just as expendable as we were. Yeah, this is why I sit back and I laugh, because God is letting me know. He's letting all of those who possess the magic glasses know that He is at work. And we can see it clear as day. So all of these sellout ass niggas who have lost their jobs, all of these white people who have lost their jobs and now they are quarantined in the house with the girl that they thought that they used to think that loved them. It's a whole different ball game when you're sitting up under the same roof with your counterpart. And then that's when and you have lost your job, and what you thought she admired you for, your intelligence, just was never that. She just admired these niggas because most of these chicks were using these niggas as security blankets. And you can look at the mentality of the women that's out here today who still have jobs. The more money that the white man give them at the job, the more that they think that they don't need a man. So now that these niggas are isolated and quarantined in the house with these chicks, they start learning things about each other. He starts to learn that she really don't like his ass. A lot of these chicks don't like these niggas, man. A bunch of these niggas got character flaws out of this world. They can't even hold an intelligent conversation. A bunch of these niggas are boring. So after they go through all these little rituals as far as Skyping and teleconferencing and running around the house trying to have fun and playing video games and getting online, all of that shit becomes boring. And they start to learn things about each other. Because as the money starts to dwindle from the money that they used to have when they had a job, she admires this nigga less and less. And he admires her less and less because he starts to find out that she's possessed with the Jezebel spirit. She's possessed with the dominatrix mentality. She's jealous, as most women are, especially black women. Most of them are so bitter that they can't even fathom seeing a black man have anything. So can you imagine being isolated and quarantined in the house with these chicks? It's just like God said in the Bible. He said, you would rather live under the same roof with a lion and a dragon than to live under the same roof with a Jezebel. So I don't have to be inside of a lot of these houses to understand what's going to happen. You forget that I possess the magic glasses. I know what's going to happen because as time goes on and the money starts to dwindle and they start to really get to know each other, ain't nobody going to work. Yeah, all of that exercise shit is going to play out. All of that shit is going to get boring to them. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing a bunch of chicks online, basically, with their legs cocked open, saying, and they try to keep it cool. They say, "You can leave your number if you want to. I'll answer everybody who DMs me." Yeah, that Miss Independent shit is backfiring on their ass. See, y'all forget that years before this happened, the feds had me in the realm of isolation. I was already isolated from family members. All of these fake ass niggas wanted to help the white man isolate me, keep me in isolation. The police, the feds, all these fake ass gang niggas who was working for the police, all of these black chicks. You know, when they see it's a game going on, they try to become part of it because that's black people. They always want to be part of something. Not understanding while they was watching me being isolated, that they were going to be next. This is how God works. He already told me in the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah. He said, if you suffer an affliction through their hands, trust me, you don't even have to be there. Just have enough faith to know that they are going to suffer the same afflictions and worse. This is why he also says, let not man's having wealth and children amaze you, because these are the things that I am going to use to punish them. Oh, yes. And that's what's going to happen. A lot of these niggas, sliding off to these little, the last few jobs that they got, and they think that they saving a bunch of money, man. That money don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. But what does mean something is what team you are on when this thing pops off. Whether you're team God or you're team devil. And if there are no in-betweens, this is what you have to understand. There is no neutral lane in this game. Because right now, your government, the American government, has these niggas trapped so deep into the web of deceit that they don't even know that it's a game of death. I have to emphasize this over and over again. Because a lot of these petty ass, dumb ass black people, a lot of petty ass, all of these racist ass crackers who are being humbled as I speak, they still think that life as they used to know it still exists. And they think this is just a temporary move on the behalf of their government. Nah, man. They are setting the masses up for a whole different lane. They are getting you ready for 5G, which is going to take over the mind of the masses. They are getting you ready for the explosion of self-driving cars, the explosion of robots taking over the workforce. All of this is coming into play. Not to mention, along with the introduction of the Antichrist. Yes, the introduction of the Antichrist. So this is what we have to be. No, this is what you have to get your youth ready for. This is what you have to get your youth ready for, man. It's not a game anymore. It's the game of death, where their souls are hanging in the balance. It's not about being petty, looking to see if I'm inside or outside. No, you want to get your little laugh on. The little 25 to 30 people who watch these videos, because these are the niggas who's basically learning, trying to survive off my words. And that's understandable. Because these are the same niggas that run around, these old snitch ass niggas who run around thinking that they still got something going on, hanging on to the white man's nuts. Thinking that they still got a life going on. And these niggas don't even know that their souls are being torched. These same niggas, these same jealous ass chicks, who think that no, that it's still all about helping the white man isolate a nigga, while the white man is isolating these niggas. Social distance yourself, because he know the more you social distance yourself, the less you niggas can think. Most of these niggas have to talk to each other to try to raise some type of consciousness. A lot of these niggas are scared to think on their own. So they look to the news, they look to the media, they look to niggas, these false prophet ass niggas online to see, no, I need somebody to soothe my insecurities. I need somebody to soothe what I'm going through right now. The isolation that's driving their ass up the wall. Yeah. Now they know what it's like. These old racist redneck white people know what it's like for a nigga to be in isolation, for black people to be in penitentiaries, in solitary confinement, driving these niggas crazy. I mean, it's not all the way that bad because you got TVs and electronics and digital world to keep you preoccupied. Oh, but don't worry, that game is about to be over too, man. When they turn a bunch of these niggas into zombies. Real talk. And you find out that the niggas that you thought was smart, all of the niggas that you thought had your back, all of the niggas that they thought was loving them and protecting them was wolves in sheep's clothing, man. All of these so-called sellout ass Africans and Arabs, they feeling it now because the well is drying up. And now you got over 22 million Americans who are filing for unemployment like retarded ass niggas. Yeah. And guess what? I guarantee you at least 18 million of them are not going to see a dime. At least 18 million are not going to see any money. You think that the government is going to let these 22 million people sit up on unemployment and collect checks every week? That will implode the economy itself. You think they are going to give niggas $1,200 a month and let them collect unemployment simultaneously just in the same lane? Do you know how much money that is? That will implode the system itself. They are not going to let that happen. That is financial suicide. Oh yes. Trust me when I tell you. So as we think about and we observe the situation, the government now has people isolated, quarantined, got these niggas with some old imaginary virus that they using to ease the world into martial law, because it's all a distraction of something worse to come. So, things like global warming, things like these niggas over in Switzerland, all of these physicists trying to open up the gates of Hades with antimatter. They want to keep your mind off of all of that while they try to open up the gates of hell and let all of the fallen angels out, and they try to declare spiritual, mental, and physical warfare on the masses, leading these niggas into slaughter. And those who don't know will always be at the mercy of those who do know. This is what you have to understand. It's not about a one-dimensional mind here. It's about thinking geometrically. Because these people are not, they don't have just one plan. They're robbing the world blind as we speak. They robbing the national treasury, getting all of the money out of there, splitting it up between making the rich into the super rich, and they gonna turn the middle class and the poor people into people who are going to live below poverty level. That's where we're headed, man. That's where we are headed. And I'm not talking about in the far distant future. I'm talking about in the weeks and the months to come. Yeah, every day that goes by is one day closer to the masses either losing their souls or being some of the winners who protected their souls. Because that's the objective here, man. And trust me, they are going to turn up the heat. They are going to turn up the heat. Right now they killing off all of the farmers. They stopping the agriculture game. All of the people at the plantation of the manufacturers who fix your food, they're getting these niggas. They sending these niggas home, and there's going to be a food shortage. Oh, and while they're doing that, all of the consumers are snatching everything that's left off of the shelves. So if you can't see the build up here, then you are totally blind. And if you're totally blind, you will most likely be victimized. Like most of the people out here, man. Like most of the people out here. Real talk. So while you sitting up looking at my background, looking in the back saying, oh shit, he's inside. He's not outside suffering. Nigga, please. You petty ass niggas need to need to get something better to do, man. You need to think of a more higher plane, man. Dig deep within yourself and find the gifts and the talents that God gave you, man. Because this is not about me. I'm just a vessel of God. This is about you and what you're going to teach your youth. Are you going to get your youth ready for what's coming in the very near future? I'm not sitting up here trying to sound intelligent, wishing that things happen to the masses. I'm trying to basically ring the alarm. While the feds and the police got all of their undercover agents trying to stop a nigga, man. And unnecessarily so, because it's not God's wrath is at work here. While you niggas are trying to stop me, while these niggas are trying to stop me, God's wrath is right upon their heads. But like God says in the Bible, the Torah, and the Quran, he says they will not be able to recognize it. When my wrath comes, they will be disputing amongst each other with no time to make it back to their people. And if you don't know what that means, go to the hospital and watch how people sit there dying and their families can't even come see them. They can't even they gotta die at the hospital alone. Yeah. They know the people who always thought that I got family, nigga. They gonna come see me. They gonna be around me. But God has an amazing sense of humor, man. When all he has to do is say "kum fire kum," be, and it is. Whatever he gave you, he can take back within a twinkling of an eye. All he has to do is say "kum fire kum," be, and it is. So I'm just trying to ring the alarm because I'm blessed. And speaking of blessings, We stand here a week before the month of Ramadan comes. A week before the month of Ramadan is about to happen. And everybody who possesses the magic glasses should be able to recognize that this Ramadan is going to be a very different one. So I have to pray for all my sisters and all my brothers that Allah blesses us with the right type of sustenance, and that He gives us the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, the patience, and the perseverance to make it to and through the month of Ramadan safely. Because there are a lot of people who are not going to make it. True story. Because God has given the most two beautiful gifts that God has given us is time and health. And many people have taken that for granted until their health goes bad and time runs out. So Allah is basically giving the masses a warning. You have to get your minds and your hearts right. We have to. Yeah. Because all of these people that think that they can defy God's plan and defy His wrath are total idiots. And they have lost their way. And these are people of the hellfire, man. Including Muslims, Christians, and Jews, man, who have failed the masses and failed society miserably. These niggas are sitting and hiding in their houses like little cowards. Why you even got white people out here on the streets protesting now, screaming, "We're not staying in the house. No, we're not staying in." Am I right, Johnny? Yeah, we're right. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these Christians, Muslims, and Jews, these niggas are hiding in the house, hiding at the mosque somewhere, hiding at the synagogue in the church somewhere. Happy that they don't even have to have services no more. They have totally silenced these niggas. Totally silenced these niggas and turned their religion into second nature. A lot of these niggas are happy that they don't even have to go to the mosque, the church, and synagogue no more to front for niggas. Because when they was going, all they was doing was fronting. So they happy they don't even have to do that no more. A bunch of these niggas have stopped praying and all of that. Stop reading the Quran and all of that. They happy they don't have to spread the word and teach nobody. All they happy about is, oh, my children are fine. My children, but guess what? That's gonna fall back on you because your children are going to have to inherit everything that you have sown into the fabric of this society, that you have helped the white man and the government sow deep into the fabric of this society, because God's wrath is heavy, and that's what a bunch of you niggas are about to find out. Real talk. You can look at me and talk about me all you want to, but if you look at me, you can see that I'm looking amazing under the wrath, because being a servant of God, God don't make His servants weaker. He makes His servants stronger. And just when hope looks bleak in the eyes of the beholder, He makes His servants even stronger. And He makes the disbelievers weaker. And this is what you're going to bear witness to. You are bear witnessing to biblical events like you've never seen it before. And slowly but surely and gradually as time moves on, the masses are going to realize, oh my God, Just like we put all of these niggas, these black people in prison and under the conspiracy of mass incarceration, now we are incarcerated. Now we're isolated. Yeah. And the harder you try to defy God's wrath, the more people will die, the more people will suffer in the wake of it. But that's just a little food for thought. A little food for thought. But with that being said, remember one thing. Well, remember two things. Number one, never fear the one who can lead you to the hellfire, but fear the one who can put you in it and leave you there. Number two, be careful of what type of media you listen to. Whether it's social media, the news, or just somebody whispering in your ear. Because it can have you hating the masses. It can have you hating the oppressed and loving those who are doing the oppressing. Yeah, and with that being said, you have watched another episode of Mental Telepathy's Arena, and I am your host and lyrical genius, Black Titanium. And until the next episode, I'll be praying for the righteous and I'll be praying for the youth. Because if they only knew what was coming, oh my God. This is not to sound intelligent. This is not for blessings. This is not for likes. Then this is not for subscribers. This is to raise awareness and bring about awareness of a blind people who are dumb, deaf, and blind to the facts of what's going on. Loving the oppressor who has them trapped deep into a web of deceit because they have trained them not to be able to think on their own. But nevertheless, with that being said, y'all have a blessed day and thank you for viewing the video. And the very chosen few who has enough courage to view the video, stay blessed. And may you forever have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And pass it on to your youth. Peace. I'm out.